My wife's work conference photos showed up on her lover's Facebook. His wife sent them to me with a message. I think we need to talk. I was folding Jake's laundry when the Facebook message came through. Just a regular Thursday evening. My 6-year-old son was watching cartoons in the living room. I had a load of whites in the dryer and was working through the seemingly endless pile of his superhero t-shirts and tiny jeans. Amy was at another client dinner, which had become such a regular occurrence over the past 8 months that I barely noticed her absence anymore. This was my life now. Solo parenting on weeknights, managing the household, supporting my wife's rapidly advancing career from the background. I'm Tom, 35 years old, and what I'm about to tell you will make you question whether you can ever truly know the person sleeping next to you at night. My phone buzzed on the coffee table. I glanced at it. A message notification from Facebook Messenger, from someone named Sarah Mitchell. I didn't recognize the name. Probably spam or a friend request from someone I'd met once and forgotten. I almost ignored it, but something made me pick up the phone and open the message. Hi, Tom. I know this is going to sound strange since we've never met, but I think we need to talk about our spouses. I'm attaching some photos you should see. I'm sorry to be the one to show you this. Please call me when you're ready. My number is below. My stomach dropped even before I opened the attachments. There's something about the phrasing, our spouses? Sorry to be the one, that told me whatever was in those photos would change everything. The first photo loaded. Amy. My wife, Amy, wearing a red bikini I'd never seen before, standing on a beach with crystal blue water behind her. She looked happy, radiant, more relaxed than I'd seen her in months. She was smiling at whoever was taking the photo with an expression of pure joy. The second photo loaded. Amy again, but this time she wasn't alone. A man's arm was around her waist. They were standing close together, his hand resting possessively on her hip, both of them grinning at the camera like they didn't have a care in the world. The third photo made my hands shake. Amy and this same man kissing by a resort pool. Not a friendly peck, a real kiss. Intimate and passionate, his hand tangled in her hair, her arms wrapped around his neck. I sat down heavily on the couch, the laundry forgotten. Jake's cartoon played in the background, something about talking dogs, but the sound seemed to come from very far away. There were 12 photos total. Amy and this man at a beach resort, walking hand in hand along the shore, sharing drinks with umbrellas in them, lying together on a poolside lounger. Each photo was another punch to the gut, another piece of evidence that my wife had been living a completely different life than the one I thought we shared. I scrolled back to Sarah's message and read it again. Our spouses. That meant the man in the photos was Sarah's husband. I looked at the photos more carefully. The man looked to be in his late 30s, fit, conventionally handsome, with the kind of confident smile that suggested he was used to getting what he wanted. My phone was still in my hand. Almost without conscious thought, I dialed the number Sarah had included in her message. She answered on the second ring. Tom, yeah, I just saw the photos. Who is that with my wife? That's my husband, David Mitchell. I believe Amy works with him. Amy worked at a marketing firm downtown. She'd been there for 5 years, had been promoted to senior marketing manager about a year ago. The promotion had come with more responsibility, more travel, more evening events, more time away from Jake and me. I'd been supportive because I thought this was her career taking off, her hard work finally being rewarded. I don't know, I said honestly. She doesn't talk about her coworkers much. When was this taken? 2 weeks ago. They told us they were going to a marketing conference in Miami. But I did some digging after I got suspicious, and there was no conference. They were at a resort in the Bahamas, a romantic couples resort, Tom. They've been having an affair. 2 weeks ago. I remembered that trip. Amy had come home on Sunday evening, dragging her small suitcase, looking tired but satisfied. She told me the conference had been productive, that she'd made good contacts, that she was exhausted from networking events and presentations. I'd made her tea, drawn her a bath, taken care of Jake all weekend so she could rest when she got home. And the whole time, she'd been on a romantic beach vacation with another man. How long? I asked, my voice sounding strange to my own ears. How long has this been going on? Sarah sighed, and I could hear the pain in it. I've been tracking it for about 3 months since I first got suspicious, but based on what I've found, I think it's been going on for at least 8 months, maybe longer. 8 months. That tracked with when Amy's business travel had increased dramatically, when the client dinners became a weekly occurrence, when she started needing to work late at the office more frequently, when our sex life had dwindled to almost nothing because she was always too tired or too stressed. What made you suspicious? I asked. Little things at first. David was on his phone constantly, texting and smiling. He'd take calls in another room. He started going to the gym obsessively, buying new clothes, caring about his appearance in ways he hadn't in years. Then the business trips started. He'd always traveled some for work, but suddenly it was 2 or 3 times a month. Always the same weeks as Amy's trips, I found out later. I thought about Amy's behavior over the past 8 months. The new clothes, she'd bought a whole new wardrobe of professional but stylish outfits. The new haircut, highlights, professional makeup. She'd started working out regularly, had lost about 15 pounds. I'd thought she was just taking better care of herself, feeling more confident as her career advanced. I hired a private investigator 2 months ago, Sarah continued. He's been following David, documenting everything. That's how I got these photos. David doesn't know I know yet. I wanted to have all the evidence before I confronted him. How many trips have there been? At least 5 that I can confirm. Miami in January, except it wasn't Miami, it was the Bahamas, like I said. A wine country weekend in February. San Diego in March. Another beach trip in April. And there's been 1 or 2 more that I'm still verifying. I pulled up my phone's calendar while Sarah talked. Checked Amy's travel schedule that I dutifully marked down so I'd know when I had solo parenting duty. January. Miami conference. She'd been gone Friday through Sunday. February. Wine Region Client Retreat, gone for a long weekend. March, San Diego Marketing Summit, 4 days. Coastal Strategy Meeting, another weekend trip. Every single one lined up with what Sarah was telling me. Tom, there's more. My investigator got access to some of their communications, hotel bookings they made together, romantic text messages, evidence that they've been planning these trips, lying to both of us, using company travel budgets to partially fund their affair. I felt like I was going to be sick. Can you send me everything you have? Yes, that's why I contacted you. I don't think we should handle this alone. They've been coordinating their lies, covering for each other. I think we should coordinate our response. Response? I'm filing for divorce. I've already consulted with an attorney, but I wanted you to know what was happening first, because you deserve to know the truth. And because if we work together, we can make sure they don't get away with this, that there are consequences. Jake called from the living room. Dad, can I have a snack? I looked at my son, innocent and trusting, with no idea that his mother had been systematically lying to his father for months, that the family he thought he had was built on deception. Just a minute, buddy, I called back, then to Sarah. I need to process this. Can I call you tomorrow? Of course, I'm sending you all the evidence now. I'm sorry, Tom. I know this is devastating, but you needed to know. After we hung up, I sat on the couch staring at my phone as files started coming through. Photos, screenshots of text messages, hotel receipts, a detailed timeline Sarah had created of every trip, every lie, every piece of evidence she'd gathered. I opened one of the text message screenshots. It was from Amy's phone to a number saved as David W. The messages were from 3 weeks ago. Amy, I can't wait for next weekend. I've been dreaming about that beach. David, me too. I hate lying to Sarah, but being with you is worth it. Amy, Tom doesn't suspect anything. He's so focused on Jake and the house, he barely notices when I'm gone. David, you deserve someone who pays attention to you, who makes you feel special. Amy, you make me feel alive again, like I'm more than just a wife and mother. I read that exchange 3 times. Tom doesn't suspect anything. She'd said it so casually, so confidently, like I was just an obstacle to manage, not a person whose trust she was destroying. Jake appeared in the doorway, holding his empty juice box. Dad, are you okay? You look sad. I forced a smile. I'm fine, buddy. Just thinking about work stuff. How about that snack? Want some apple slices? With peanut butter. Of course, with peanut butter. I got up, walked to the kitchen on autopilot, cut up an apple, spread peanut butter on a plate, handed it to Jake, and watched him return to his cartoons, completely unaware that his world was about to shatter. Amy came home at 9:30 p.m. I'd put Jake to bed, cleaned up the kitchen, and spent 2 hours reading through everything Sarah had sent me. Every hotel receipt, every romantic text message, every photo of my wife with another man, looking happier than she'd looked with me in years. Hey, she said, dropping her purse on the counter. Sorry I'm late. The dinner ran long and then traffic was terrible. She kissed my cheek, a quick perfunctory peck that had become our standard greeting. No warmth, no real affection, just going through the motions. How was it? I asked, amazed at how normal my voice sounded. Good. We're close to signing that new account. Should know by next week. She opened the fridge, pulled out a bottle of water. How was Jake? Fine. Homework done, bath, bed on time, the usual. You're so good with him. I don't know what I'd do without you holding down the fort while I'm working so much. I looked at her, really looked at her. She was wearing a new dress I hadn't seen before. Navy blue, fitted, professional but sexy. Her hair was perfectly styled. Makeup still fresh, even at 9:30 p.m. She looked beautiful, polished, successful, and she was lying to me, had been lying to me for 8 months. Amy, do you have any trips coming up? Actually, yes, next weekend, and there's a conference in Seattle. I'll leave Friday morning, back Sunday evening. Seattle. I wondered if it was really Seattle or if it was another romantic getaway with David, another weekend of lies while I stayed home with our son. It's a lot of travel lately, I said carefully. She shrugged. It comes with the promotion, you know that. It's what we talked about when I took the position. More responsibility, more travel, but better career prospects and better money long term. We had talked about that a year ago when she was offered the promotion. She'd been honest then about the increased travel requirements. What she hadn't mentioned was that she'd use that travel as cover for an affair. I miss having you around more, I said, testing. Jake asks about you, wonders why mommy is gone so much. For just a second, I saw something flicker across her face. Guilt, regret, but it was gone almost immediately, replaced by defensiveness. I'm building a career, Tom. I'm providing for our family. I thought you supported that. I do support it. I just miss you, miss us. She softened slightly. I know. I miss us too. But this is temporary. Once I've established myself more firmly, the travel will decrease. It's just a busy period right now. More lies, smooth, practiced, delivered with just the right mix of reassurance and deflection. Sure, I said. I understand. She kissed my cheek again. I'm exhausted. I'm going to shower and go to bed. Coming up soon? I'll be up in a bit. Just want to finish some things down here. I listened to her footsteps on the stairs, heard the bedroom door close, heard the shower start running. Then I opened my laptop and started reading through Sarah's evidence again, this time taking notes. Over the next 3 days, operated on 2 levels. On the surface, I was normal Tom, devoted husband, dedicated father, supportive partner. I made breakfast, packed Jake's lunch, did drop off and pick up from school, made dinner, did bedtime routine. When Amy came home from work or her client dinners, I asked about her day, kissed her goodnight, acted like everything was fine, but underneath, I was documenting, taking screenshots, organizing evidence, creating my own timeline of Amy's lies. Every time she said she was at a client dinner, I noted the time she left and the time she returned. Every time she mentioned a trip, I marked it on my calendar and cross-referenced it with Sarah's information. Sarah and I texted frequently. She'd found more evidence, your credit card statements showing romantic restaurant charges on dates when Amy and David were supposedly at business dinners, a hotel room booking for the upcoming Seattle conference that was actually at a resort in wine country, 2 hours from our house. A whole email trail between Amy and David where they planned their trips, coordinated their cover stories, and expressed love for each other while disparaging their spouses. You're doing great keeping it together, Sarah texted me Wednesday night. I know this is killing you. It's killing me too. Do you still love him? I texted back. I don't know. I loved who I thought he was, but that person doesn't exist. What about you? I thought about Amy, the woman I'd married 7 years ago who'd promised to love and honor me, the mother of my son, the person I'd built my entire adult life around. Same, I replied. I loved who I thought she was. Thursday evening, Amy came home excited. Great news! The Seattle conference got upgraded. Instead of a standard hotel, they're putting us up at this amazing resort. Spa, great restaurants, the whole thing. I might actually get to relax a little. That's great, I said, my voice hollow. You deserve it. You've been working so hard. She beamed at me, completely unaware that I knew exactly where she was really going and who she was going with. I know I've been absent a lot lately. When I get back, maybe we can plan a family day, take Jake somewhere fun. Sure, that sounds nice. Friday morning, I got up early with Amy, made her coffee while she packed. She was humming as she zipped up her suitcase, clearly excited about her weekend away. You seem happy, I observed. I'm looking forward to some time to decompress. This job has been stressful, and a nice hotel with good amenities sounds perfect. More lies, delivered with a smile and a kiss goodbye. Have a good trip, I said at the door. Love you, she called, wheeling her suitcase to the car. Love you too, I replied automatically, watching her drive away, wondering if she felt any guilt at all, or if lying to me had become so routine that she didn't even notice anymore. After she left, I texted Sarah. She's on her way, playing the devoted career woman right up until she walked out the door. David, too. He was so excited this morning, makes me sick. What now? Now we keep gathering evidence. I'll have my investigator at the resort getting more photos. Then early next week, we make our moves. That weekend was the longest of my life. I kept busy with Jake, took him to the park, went to a movie, made his favorite meals. But the whole time, I was imagining Amy at a romantic resort with David, sharing meals, sharing a bed, sharing intimacy that used to be ours, all while I changed diapers and made mac and cheese and played with action figures. Saturday evening, Amy texted, "Conference sessions were good today. Dinner was amazing. How's Jake?" I took a photo of Jake and me building a Lego set, sent it to her with the caption, "We're good. Having a guys' weekend. Glad you're enjoying the conference. Miss you guys," she texted back. Did she? Or was that just another lie? Easy words to type while she was curled up with her lover? Sunday afternoon, Sarah sent me new photos. Amy and David at the resort restaurant, feeding each other dessert. At the spa, walking in matching robes. In the lobby, kissing while waiting for checkout. They're not even trying to hide it, Sarah texted. They think they're safe, that we're too clueless to catch them. When are you confronting David? Tomorrow night, after I've talked to my attorney one more time, made sure all my evidence is organized. You? I thought about it. Part of me wanted to confront Amy the second she walked through the door, throw the photos in her face, demand explanations, rage at her for what she'd done. But another part of me knew that emotional confrontations rarely went well, that I needed to be strategic, protected, prepared. I'm going to consult with an attorney first, make sure I understand my rights, especially regarding custody of Jake, then I'll decide. Smart. Let me know if you need a recommendation. My attorney is excellent. Amy came home Sunday evening at 6 p.m. looking relaxed and refreshed. She'd clearly had a wonderful weekend. She was glowing, energetic, happier than I'd seen her in months. How was the conference? I asked, handing her a glass of wine. Really good. The sessions were informative and, honestly, just having time to relax and not worry about cooking or cleaning or managing the household was incredible. I feel recharged. I'm glad. You seemed like you needed a break. She hugged me, resting her head on my shoulder for a moment. Thank you for being so supportive. I know my career has put a lot on your plate. I appreciate you holding everything together. I hugged her back, smelling an unfamiliar cologne on her clothes, feeling the weight of her lies pressing down on me. Of course, I said. That's what partners do. That night, after Amy fell asleep, I lay awake staring at the ceiling, this woman next to me breathing softly, completely at peace. She'd spent the weekend with another man. She'd made love to him. I couldn't think about that without feeling physically ill. She'd laughed with him, shared meals with him, probably talked about me and how clueless I was, and now she was home, slipping back into her role as my wife, mother to our child, as easily as changing clothes. I had married a stranger. That's what this felt like. The Amy I thought I knew, honest, loyal, loving, didn't exist. Or maybe she had existed once, but had been replaced by this person who could compartmentalize so completely, who could live two separate lives without apparent conflict. Monday morning, I called Sarah's attorney recommendation and scheduled a consultation for that afternoon. Took a long lunch from my software engineering job and drove to the law offices of Patricia Chen. Patricia was in her mid-40s, sharp-eyed with the no-nonsense demeanor of someone who'd seen every variation of marital dissolution. "Tell me what's going on," she said, pulling out a legal pad. I told her everything. Showed her the photos, the text messages, the hotel receipts, the timeline, explained that Amy had been using business travel as cover for an 8-month affair, lying repeatedly while I handled all child care and household responsibilities. Patricia took notes, asked questions, reviewed the evidence carefully. "This is pretty clear-cut infidelity," she finally said. "In terms of divorce proceedings, you have strong documentation. However, I need to be clear, in most states, infidelity doesn't dramatically affect divorce settlements unless it involved dissipation of marital assets." Dissipation? Using marital funds for the affair. Did she use your joint credit cards or bank accounts to pay for any of these trips? I thought about our finances. Amy made about $85,000 a year. I made $95,000. We had joint accounts for household expenses, separate accounts for personal spending. Her travel was usually expensed through work or paid from her personal account. I'm not sure. I'd have to check. Do that. If she used marital funds for romantic getaways, that's dissipation and can affect the settlement. Otherwise, the main impact of the affair will be on custody arrangements. A pattern of lying and prioritizing an affair over parenting duties can be relevant to custody determinations. You've been the primary caregiver while she's been traveling for her affair? Yes, I do probably 70% of Jake's care. Morning routine, school drop-off and pick-up, homework help, dinner, bedtime. She's home maybe 3 nights a week for dinner, and even then she's often working late or distracted. Patricia made more notes. That's very relevant. Courts care about established patterns of caregiving. If you've been the primary parent, that weighs in your favor for custody. I want primary custody. I want Jake to have stability, and that's with me. I think that's achievable based on what you've told me, but I'd recommend you start documenting your parenting time more formally. Keep a log of who does what, when. It'll help establish the pattern. We talked for another hour about strategy, timelines, what to expect. When I left, I had a plan forming. Not just for confrontation, but for what came after. That evening, I started keeping detailed logs. What time I woke Jake up, made breakfast, did school drop off, what time Amy left for work, came home, interacted with Jake, how much time each of us spent on actual parenting versus other activities. The pattern was stark. Even on days when Amy was home, she was present but not engaged. On her phone during dinner, working on her laptop during Jake's bath time, distracted, absent, focused on everything except our son. Tuesday, Sarah texted, confronting David tonight. Wish me luck. You've got this. Let me know how it goes. At 10 p.m., she called me, voice shaking. I did it. Showed him everything. He tried to deny it at first, but the evidence was overwhelming. Then he got angry, said I had no right to spy on him. Can you believe that? No right to verify my suspicions about my own husband's affair. How did it end? I told him I was filing for divorce, that he needed to move out. He's at a hotel tonight. Tom, he barely seemed sorry, more annoyed that he got caught than guilty about what he did. I'm sorry. Don't be. I'm done being sorry for him. Now I'm just angry and determined to make sure he doesn't get to play the victim in this. After we hung up, I sat with that information. David knew, which meant Amy would probably know soon too. They'd contact each other, coordinate their responses, prepare their defenses. I needed to move faster than I'd planned. Wednesday evening, I was making dinner when Amy came home early, her face pale and drawn. We need to talk, she said, and my heart started racing. This was it. David had told her about Sarah's confrontation. She was about to confess or lie more or try to manage the situation, but I wasn't ready yet. Didn't have all my ducks in a row, didn't have my full strategy prepared. Can it wait? I said. I'm in the middle of making dinner for Jake. No, it's important. My coworker David is going through a divorce. His wife apparently accused him of having an affair. It's causing problems at work, and I'm worried it might affect my career since we work together a lot. I stared at her. She was spinning it already, making herself the victim, worried about her career, not mentioning her own involvement. That's rough for him, I said carefully. But why would it affect your career? Because we travel together sometimes for work. If people start gossiping, it could reflect badly on both of us. I just wanted you to know in case you hear anything. Hear anything from who? She hesitated. I don't know. Office gossip can spread. I just wanted to be upfront with you. Upfront? The word was almost funny coming from someone who'd been lying to me for 8 months. Okay, I said. Thanks for telling me. She looked relieved. Probably thought she'd gotten ahead of the story, controlled the narrative. She had no idea I already knew everything. That night, after Amy went to bed, I texted Sarah. She's spinning it. Told me about David's divorce, but framed it as work gossip, nothing to do with her. They're going to keep lying until they can't anymore. Are you ready to confront her? I thought about Jake asleep upstairs, about my job, my house, my life that was about to explode, about the photos of Amy and David that I couldn't unsee, the text messages I couldn't unread, the 8 months of lies that couldn't be undone. Not yet, I texted back, but soon. Thursday, I met with Patricia Chen again. Brought her updated financial records showing that Amy had, in fact, used our joint credit card for several charges during her trips with David, romantic dinners, spa treatments, gifts, dissipation of marital assets. This strengthens your case, Patricia said. She used marital funds for affair-related expenses while you were home caring for your child. Combined with your documentation of primary caregiving, you have a strong position for custody and favorable asset division. When should I confront her? When you're ready emotionally and legally. I can have divorce papers prepared by next week. You can serve her then, or you can wait until you feel more prepared, but don't wait too long. The longer you know without acting, the harder it becomes. That evening, I watched Amy play with Jake for exactly 20 minutes before getting distracted by her phone. Watched her laugh at something on her screen, probably a text from David. Watched her kiss Jake goodnight and then retreat to her laptop for work. This was my marriage. A wife who was physically present but emotionally absent, who prioritized her affair and her career over her family, who lied so easily that I wondered if she even knew what truth was anymore. I'd been a good husband, a devoted father. I'd supported Amy's career, taken on more than my share of household and child care duties, trusted her completely, and in return, she'd betrayed me in the worst way possible. Not just the affair, though that was devastating enough, but the systematic lying, the 8 months of carefully constructed deception, the double life she'd been living while I remained faithful and clueless. Friday morning, I woke up knowing what I needed to do. I'd been gathering evidence, consulting attorneys, preparing, but I'd been avoiding the actual confrontation, afraid of what it would mean, how it would feel, what would happen after. But I couldn't avoid it anymore. Sarah was already confronting her reality. I needed to confront mine. I texted Sarah, "I'm ready, going to do it this weekend. You've got this. Whatever you need, I'm here." Then he mentioned another trip coming up. 2 weeks from now, there's a client meeting in Portland. I'll be gone Monday through Wednesday. I wondered if it was real this time or another cover story, another romantic getaway she and David were planning, assuming they could still get away with it. "Sure," I said. "I'll make it work." She smiled at me, completely oblivious. "You always do. I'm lucky to have you." I looked at her. This woman I'd loved, married, built a life with. This stranger who'd been lying to me for 8 months. And I knew that by this time next week, our marriage would be over. Everything I'd thought I knew about my life, my wife, my family, it was all about to change because the double life Amy had been living so carefully was about to be exposed completely, and there was no coming back from that. Saturday morning, I woke up with absolute clarity. No more hesitation, no more delays. Today was the day everything changed. Jake was still asleep. Amy was in the shower getting ready for her usual weekend routine, yoga class, brunch with friends, or so she claimed, errands. I made coffee and opened my laptop, reviewing everything one more time. The photos, the hotel receipts, the text messages, the timeline Sarah and I had constructed showing every lie, every trip, every moment of deception. My phone buzzed. Sarah. "I talked to my attorney yesterday. She recommended we coordinate our divorces, file around the same time so Amy and David can't get their stories straight or, are you ready?" I typed back, "Getting divorce papers prepared Monday, planning to serve her by end of next week." "Good. I'm filing Wednesday. We've got this, Tom. Stay strong." Amy emerged from the bedroom, hair wet, wearing yoga pants and a tight athletic top. She looked young, fit, happy. The affair had been good for her physically. All that motivation to look attractive for David had translated into the best shape of her life. "Morning," she said, kissing the top of my head as she passed. "Coffee smells good. Made a full pot. Help yourself." She poured a cup, leaned against the counter. "I'm thinking about the Portland trip. Maybe I should skip it. I've been traveling so much, and I can tell Jake misses me." Was this guilt? Or was David backing off after his wife's confrontation, making the Portland trip impossible? That would be nice, I said neutrally. "Jake would love more time with you." "Yeah, let me talk to my team on Monday, see if someone else can handle the meeting." She grabbed her yoga mat and keys. "I'll be back by noon. Want me to pick up lunch?" "Sure. Sandwiches from that deli Jake like? Perfect." She kissed me again, this time on the lips. A quick routine gesture without any real feeling behind it. "Love you. Love you too." I watched her leave, wondering how many times she'd said those words while actively betraying them. Hundreds, thousands. Had they ever meant anything? Or had I just been a comfortable life she was unwilling to give up even while pursuing passion elsewhere? After she left, I called Patricia. "I'm ready. Can you have divorce papers prepared by Wednesday?" "Absolutely. Come by Monday at 10 a.m. We'll finalize everything and I'll have papers ready to serve by Thursday. Thank you. Next, I called my brother Mike, who lived 2 hours away. I need your help with something. Can you come stay with me next weekend? It's important. Of course. What's going on? I'm divorcing Amy. She's been having an affair for 8 months. I'm confronting her next Saturday, and I need someone here for support and to make sure things stay calm. Silence, then. Holy shit, Tom. I'm so sorry. Of course I'll be there, whatever you need. Thanks. I'll fill you in on details when you get here. The rest of the weekend was surreal. I played with Jake, took him to the park, made meals, did bath time and bedtime. Amy was home and present, but distracted on her phone constantly. At one point, I saw her smiling at a text, then quickly putting the phone face down when she noticed me looking. Sunday evening, after Jake was asleep, I brought up the Portland trip again. Did you decide about that client meeting? She hesitated. Actually, I think I need to go. It's an important account and I'm the lead, but I promise after this trip I'll cut back on travel. Spend more time at home. More lies. So smooth, so practiced. Okay, whatever you think is best. Monday morning I met with Patricia Chen. We finalized the divorce petition, requesting primary custody of Jake, equitable division of assets with consideration for dissipated marital funds, and reasonable spousal support calculations. The document was 30 pages of legal language that essentially said, this marriage is over, here's why, and here's what I'm asking for. When do you want to serve her? Patricia asked. Saturday. I want to confront her with everything first, show her I know about the affair, about the lies about David, then serve her the papers. Make sure you're calm when you do it. Don't let it become a screaming match. State the facts, show the evidence, serve the papers, and end the conversation. Don't get drawn into arguments or justifications. I won't. Tuesday, I opened a separate bank account and transferred my personal savings, about $15,000 that I'd had before the marriage. Not marital assets, but I wanted them protected. I also gathered important documents, Jake's birth certificate, our tax returns, financial statements, everything I'd need for the divorce proceedings. Wednesday, Sarah texted, just filed, David's being served tomorrow. This is really happening. I'm serving Amy on Saturday. Almost there. How are you holding up? Numb mostly, like I'm going through the motion. I think the real emotions will hit after the confrontation. They will, but you're doing the right thing. We both are. Thursday evening, Amy came home excited. I got Jake into that summer camp he wanted, the one with the rock climbing wall. It was competitive, but they had a spot open up. He was being a good mom in this moment, handling logistics, making Jake happy. It was these moments that made the betrayal even more confusing. She wasn't a monster. She was a person who'd made terrible choices while still caring about our son in her way. That's great, I said. He'll be thrilled. I know things have been hard with all my traveling, but I'm trying, I really am. Was she? Or was this guilt talking? A subconscious attempt to balance the scales before everything fell apart? Friday, my brother Mike arrived. I told Amy he was visiting to help with some home repairs, which she accepted without question. That evening, after Jake was in bed, I showed Mike everything. He sat in my office scrolling through photos and messages, his expression darkening with each swipe. I can't believe this. Amy, sweet, caring Amy who cried at our wedding. People change, or maybe they just hide who they really are until it's convenient to show it. What do you need from me tomorrow? Just be here, be a witness, make sure things don't escalate, and after she leaves, help me hold it together for Jake. You've got it, brother. Saturday morning arrived, the day I'd been building toward for 2 weeks. Amy woke up cheerful, unaware that this would be the last normal morning of our marriage. What's the plan today? She asked over coffee. Actually, I need to talk to you about something serious. Mike's going to take Jake to the park for a few hours. Can we talk this morning? She looked concerned. Is everything okay? We'll talk when Jake leaves. At 10 a.m., Mike took Jake to the park, promising ice cream and playtime. Jake went happily, oblivious to what was about to happen. Amy and I sat in the living room. She looked nervous now, sensing that something significant was coming. I pulled out my laptop and set it on the coffee table, opened the folder with all the evidence. Amy, I'm going to show you something. I don't want you to speak until I'm done. Just look at what I'm showing you and listen to what I have to say. Tom, you're scaring me. Please, just listen. I opened the first photo, Amy and David on the beach in the Bahamas. Her face went white. Where did you get that? I said, don't speak yet. I clicked through more photos. Amy and David kissing by the pool, walking hand in hand, sharing intimate moments at multiple resorts over multiple trips. Amy's hands were shaking. She looked like she might be sick. I was contacted by Sarah Mitchell 2 weeks ago. David's wife, she's been investigating his affair for months and discovered it was with you. She shared all her evidence with me. I pulled up the text messages, the hotel receipts, the timeline of every trip, every lie. 8 months, Amy. You've been lying to me for 8 months. Every business trip was a romantic getaway with David. Every client dinner was a cover story. Every conference was a lie. Tears started streaming down her face. Tom, I can explain. No, there's no explanation that makes this okay. You had an affair. You lied to me repeatedly. You used our joint credit card to pay for romantic dinners and spa treatments with your lover. That's dissipation of marital assets, by the way. And you did all of this while I stayed home taking care of our son, supporting your career, trusting you completely. I never meant to hurt you, but you did hurt me, deliberately, repeatedly, for 8 months. I pulled out another folder. Here's documentation of my parenting time versus yours. I do approximately 70% of Jake's care. Morning routines, school drop-off, homework, dinner, bedtime. You're barely present even when you're home. I've been working hard for our family. You've been having an affair while I raised our son. Amy was sobbing now, hunched over, unable to meet my eyes. Sarah filed for divorce from David on Wednesday. He was served on Thursday. I'm assuming he told you? She nodded miserably. And yet, you didn't tell me, didn't come clean, didn't confess. You were going to keep lying until you absolutely couldn't anymore. I was scared. I have one question, and I want the truth. How long has the affair been going on? She was quiet for a long moment. Then, in a small voice, 11 months. It started last July at a work retreat. 11 months. Even longer than I'd thought, almost a year of systematic deception. Did you love him? I thought I did. He made me feel alive again, made me feel like more than just a wife and mother. I know that's selfish, but I felt so trapped in my life, and he was exciting and new, and I was boring. The reliable husband at home with the kid. That's not fair. None of this is fair, Amy. That's the point. I reached into my bag and pulled out the envelope Patricia had prepared. These are divorce papers. I'm filing for divorce, seeking primary custody of Jake, and requesting equitable division of assets. Her face crumpled. No, Tom, please, we can fix this. We can go to counseling. I'll end things with David. I'll do whatever it takes. It's too late. You destroyed our marriage with your choices. I'm not interested in fixing something this broken. Please, think about Jake. Think about our family. I've thought about nothing else for 2 weeks, and what I've realized is that Jake deserves better than a mother who prioritizes her affair over her son, who lies constantly, who's barely present even when she's home. You can't take my son from me. I'm not taking him. But I am seeking primary custody because I've been his primary parent for over a year while you've been busy with David. The courts care about established patterns of care, and the pattern is clear. She stood up, pacing. This is vindictive. You're punishing me. I'm protecting Jake and protecting myself from further betrayal. What do you want from me? I want you to sign the papers, work with your attorney, and make this divorce as smooth as possible for Jake's sake. That's it. And if I fight you, then we go to court and all of this evidence becomes public record. The affair, the lies, the dissipation of marital assets, everything. Is that what you want? She sank back onto the couch, defeated. No. Good. I've arranged for you to stay at a hotel for the next few days while we figure out temporary living arrangements. I've already packed a bag for you. It's by the front door. You're kicking me out? This is my house too, and I'm the primary caregiver for Jake. It makes more sense for you to be the one to leave temporarily. How am I supposed to explain this to Jake? We'll tell him together when the time is right. But that's a conversation we need to plan carefully with a child therapist, not rush into today. She looked completely broken, mascara running down her face, shoulders shaking with sobs. Part of me, a small part, felt bad for her. But mostly I felt relief. Relief that the lies were over. Relief that I didn't have to pretend anymore. Relief that I could start moving forward. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry too. Sorry that the person I married turned out to be someone who could do this. Mike and Jake came home an hour later. Amy had left by then, driven to a hotel with her hastily packed bag, the divorce papers in her purse. How'd it go? Mike asked quietly while Jake was in his room playing. She confessed, tried to convince me to work it out, but I stood firm. It's done. How are you feeling? Empty. Sad, relieved, angry, all of it at once. That's normal. You're processing a massive betrayal. Over the next few weeks, the divorce machinery ground forward. Amy hired an attorney, Tried initially to fight for 50-50 your custody, but when her attorney saw my documentation of parenting time and the evidence of the affair, she advised Amy to settle. The settlement gave me primary custody. Jake would live with me full-time during the school year, with Amy getting alternate weekends and one evening per week. Summers would be split more evenly. Amy was required to pay me child support of $800 per month. The house stayed with me, though I had to pay Amy $45,000 for her equity share over 3 years. Our retirement accounts and other assets were divided. The part that gave me the most satisfaction was what happened at Amy's work. I'd gathered evidence showing that she and David had used company travel budgets for personal romantic getaways, falsely claiming business purposes for affair-related trips. I sent an anonymous report to their company's ethics hotline with all the documentation. Within 2 weeks, both Amy and David were under investigation. Within a month, David was fired for ethics violations. Amy received a formal reprimand, was removed from her senior position, and was moved to a junior role with significantly reduced responsibilities and salary. She called me, furious. "You ruined my career. Was destroying our marriage not enough?" "I didn't ruin your career. You did. When you decided to use company resources for your affair, I just made sure the company knew what you'd done. You're vindictive and cruel." "I'm honest. Maybe try it sometime." 3 months after the divorce was finalized, life had settled into a new routine. Jake adjusted well. He had his room at my house, saw his mom regularly, and seemed to accept that this was just how things were now. I started therapy to process the betrayal and rebuild my sense of trust. Dr. Reynolds helped me understand that Amy's choices weren't a reflection of my worth. That infidelity says more about the cheater's character than the betrayed partner's value. Sarah and I stayed in touch, supporting each other through our divorces. She'd gotten a favorable settlement from David, who'd been desperate to avoid having more affair details exposed during his job search. "How are you doing?" she asked during one of our check-ins. "Better. Some days are hard, but mostly I'm okay. Jake keeps me grounded." "Same. My kids are my anchor. And honestly, life without David is more peaceful than life with him was toward the end. I feel that. Life without Amy's lies is cleaner, less stressful." 6 months post-divorce, I started dating. Nothing serious at first, just coffee dates, getting used to being single again, remembering who I was outside of being Amy's husband. I met Rachel at a parents' meetup at Jake's school. She was a single mom, divorced 3 years with a daughter in Jake's grade. We bonded over shared experiences of co-parenting and rebuilding after divorce. Our first real date was coffee that turned into a 3-hour conversation. She was honest, direct, emotionally available in ways Amy never had been. "I need to tell you up front," I said on our third date. "I have serious trust issues. My ex-wife had an affair for almost a year, lied constantly. I'm still working through that." Rachel nodded. "I appreciate you being honest. My ex cheated too. That's why we divorced. So I understand trust issues. We can take things slow." 1 year after my divorce, life looked completely different. Jake was thriving. 7 years old, happy, well-adjusted. He had a routine with me and saw Amy regularly, though their relationship remained somewhat distant. Amy had moved to a smaller apartment, was working a less prestigious job, had tried and failed at several relationships. I heard through mutual acquaintances that she'd told people she regretted the affair, that losing her family had been the worst mistake of her life. But regret doesn't undo betrayal. It doesn't rebuild trust. It's just the consequence of recognizing too late what you destroyed. Rachel and I were serious now, talking about moving in together eventually. She'd met Jake, they got along well, and I'd met her daughter Emma. We were building something real, based on honesty and mutual respect. 2 years post-divorce, I was 37, professionally successful, personally content, romantically fulfilled. Jake was 8 and confident, secure in his relationship with me, increasingly independent. Amy had stabilized somewhat, still in a lower-level position at work, still single, but seeing Jake regularly and making an effort to be present during her time with him. One afternoon, Amy asked to meet me for coffee. "I want to talk to you about something." We met at a neutral location, a coffee shop equidistant from both our homes. "I've been in therapy," she said, "working through why I made the choices I made, understanding the damage I caused. That's good. I want to apologize, not because I expect forgiveness, but because you deserve to hear it. What I did was inexcusable. I betrayed you, lied to you, destroyed our family. You were a good husband, and I threw that away for something that wasn't even real. I looked at her, this woman who'd been my wife, who'd broken my heart, who I'd shared years of my life with. I didn't feel anger anymore, just neutrality. I appreciate the apology, but I need you to understand what you did changed me fundamentally, made it hard for me to trust, hard for me to feel secure in relationships. I'm working through it, but the damage you caused runs deep. I know, and I'm sorry. If I could go back, but you can't. None of us can. We just have to move forward with the consequences of our choices. She nodded, tears in her eyes. Are you happy now? I am. Happier than I was in the last year of our marriage, definitely. That's good. You deserve happiness. We finished our coffee in relative peace. It wasn't forgiveness exactly, but it was closure, an acknowledgement that what we had was over, that we'd both moved forward, that the past couldn't be changed, but we could choose how to carry it forward. 3 years after discovering Amy's affair, I'm 38 and genuinely happy. Rachel and I got engaged, planning a simple wedding for next year. Jake loves Rachel and Emma, and they're building a sibling-like relationship. Amy has found some stability, still sees Jake regularly, has accepted that primary custody is mine, seems to have learned from her mistakes even if those lessons came too late for us. Looking back at that Facebook message from Sarah, those photos that shattered my world, I'm grateful. Not for the pain, that was real and devastating, but for the truth. Because living with Amy's lies was slowly destroying me even before I knew what they were. The distance between us, the sense that something was wrong, the feeling of being taken for granted, those were all symptoms of the disease that was her deception. Discovering the affair forced me to confront reality, to stop making excuses, to recognize that the marriage I thought I had never actually existed. The final lesson I learned, trust your gut. When something feels wrong, investigate. Don't let love or fear or comfort blind you to red flags. Don't accept lies just because the truth is scary. Amy thought she could manage a double life indefinitely. She underestimated my love for our son, my capacity to protect myself, and my ability to walk away from betrayal. And that miscalculation cost her everything. Her marriage, her family stability, her career advancement, her reputation, all for an affair that ended within weeks of exposure, leaving her with nothing but regret. Meanwhile, I rebuilt, stronger, wiser, with better boundaries and clearer values, found real love with someone who values honesty, created a stable, happy home for Jake. The person Amy betrayed isn't who I am anymore. I'm someone better, someone who knows his worth, who won't accept lies, who builds relationships on truth rather than deception. And that's the real victory, not revenge, not the divorce settlement, not even the satisfaction of Amy facing consequences. The real victory is becoming someone who won't tolerate betrayal, who demands honesty, who knows that being alone is better than being with someone who treats your trust as optional. 3 years ago, I thought my life was ending. Turns out it was just the painful beginning of something much better.